Are you stuck? How about unhappy? Join Alena Chapman, author, mentor, and life coach for Magical Moments with Alena as she challenges you to get out of the doldrum and start living your life to the fullest. In just 60 minutes, Alena will help you take control of your life and push you to do the things you never thought you'd do. So get ready to take back your power and celebrate life with Magical Moments featuring Alena Chapman.
Welcome to Magical Moments, and I'm your host, Alena Chapman, and it is so time for ease and betterment, folks. So much time we have had, so much stress, so much stuff going on in our minds, so much going on in the news, so much going on in life, so much fear, so much, everything. But you know what? There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And if we can get ourselves to just open our eyes, turn off all the noise, we can see the light. So today is an Ask Alena, and I'm very excited about that. And I think what we're going to do a little bit different format today. Oh boy, we got to spice it up, you know. We're going to have three important questions, because I think they tap right on to what people are feeling right now. And then I have a wonderful little treat for you, a little bit for the holidays, because we're going into Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving for all my listeners out there who are celebrating it right now. I have a little thing I want to show you, because I know we have all these restrictions with Thanksgiving. Well, we're going to talk about that. And I think you're going to like what I have to say, and I think you're going to be able to practice it. So this is going to be an exciting show. But let's start. Let's open up to the magical nugget. We have to have our magical nugget. So with our magical nugget, it is opening our eyes. It is seeing. I want to challenge you this week with this wonderful Thanksgiving celebration we're all having. And the first snow where I live, I woke up, oh my gosh, guys, I woke up and I thought, is that snow out my window? And I know we all complain about the snow and la 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 and how cold, and I'm not one who loves the cold, but I have to say, when that first snow comes, I'm like a child. Every time it hits me, I look out there and I think, it's a winter wonderland. It's so gorgeous, Everything is just so white, and at night the snow reflects the light of the stars in the snow, and I just think, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. But no, I'm not one who adores the cold, but boy, I love that snow. So anyway, this magical nugget is to start to see things in this world that make you happy. Okay, this week, that's the deal, guys. Just look at, like I did with the snow. What is it that just makes you just smile? Is it looking at the sky? Is it going out into nature and just looking at things? Maybe not. Maybe it's going down and looking at Christmas lights. Maybe it's going to, maybe you're an antique store person. So go treat yourself to going to an antique store. Go somewhere. Do something. Maybe it's just people watching. Indulge yourself in the things that make you just smile and say, oh, I adore it. It's wonderful. It opens your eye to a childlike wonder, like when we were children. These are the things that keep us young. These are the things that make us see the preciousness of life. And sometimes, folks, and especially now, we are polluted with all the noise. And when we get ourselves polluted, we have to unpollute ourselves. Don't you like that phrase? It's time to unpollute ourselves. It's time to see the little bit of wonder in every day. Every day. Whether that's the really nice person who pays for your thing in the coffee line. Or maybe it's the really nice person who goes that extra step to open the door for you in these times when everybody's trying to stay away from each other. Maybe it's the person who just has kind words and is looking for kind words from you. Whatever it is, it's time for us to start opening to this. Because I'll tell you, when I woke up and I saw that snow, it changed my whole day. I ran downstairs and I said to my kids, I have my kids home, all my boys. My oldest came back from Connecticut and my other one came back from Muncie. And I have, so I have 3 boys in the house. I said, guys, it's snowing. It's exciting. It gets everybody excited. We had hot cocoa for breakfast. And then we went and had fun that day. It was a beautiful Sunday. It was the best Sunday in the whole wide world. But it started out with that child wonder, that happiness. So, this is your mission this week. Get out there. Take a look. Allow it to change your perspective, allow it to unpollute you, allow it to bring you back to those days when, oh my gosh, that wonder and that amazement, that fun, that freedom, that's what it is. So it's going to be a fun week. And now that it's Thanksgiving week, you have more than enough time to do this. And it's so important. We need it right now. We need it very much. All right. So there's my magical nugget. I hope you enjoy that. Now, let's talk about some questions. Okay, we have a lot of questions that are coming in. And like I said, they're very time appropriate. I think people are tired. So here, this question is right on here. I do not have a name. Actually, all 3 are very private with their names. So I don't know why. You guys, your first name's okay. Alena, are you personally weary of the state of things right now? That's a good question. And you're asking me on my own personal feelings. Am I weary? I don't know. And I'm being quite honest. I mean, I know we're in a pandemic, and am I sick of it? Yes, of course I am. I'd be silly to say that I'm not sick of it. I am sick of it. However, I also know that this is just a time in our lives when we have to take care of each other and protect each other the best we can with our masks and trying to keep social distanced. And still keep that compassion and that connection to people. But, I have to tell you, I'll be quite honest. I'm a moviegoer. I love my movies. I'm a people person. I love to go out. I love to talk with people. I love to meet new people. I love to experience things. So has that all been curtailed? Oh, also travel. My travel has been curtailed, incredibly. And, that has blown me sky high because I do love to travel. I do love to get out, and also my work requires it. So with all that, I think I've had enough. I can say that. Am I weary? I don't know if it's wearied. I think it's more of, okay, it's time to stop this now. And that's how I feel. But see, the stopping is nowhere in sight. So I guess, yes, I am ready for it to be done. Very, very much so. I am like every other person out there. I'm very human. But I have to say, I also put it in perspective. I'll tell you some of the things that I have done to counteract the so-called weariness and the so-called frustration. And maybe that'll help you, or maybe you were just directing this at me, but I'll let you, for anybody out there who needs it. I turn off the noise, guys. I turn off the noise. Oh my God, if anything can weary you out, it's the noise. It's the noise of all the fighting, the resistance, the outrageousness of everything. We're living in, now I know a lot of people aren't going to say this, but I feel so incredible lucky to be living through this time. Doesn't that sound funny? But I really do. I think the reason why is my gosh, this time is not to be forgotten. This time is a turning point, and I'm waiting to see which way it turns. Who are we going to become, this great United States of America? Are we going to be united? What is going to happen? We've had a taste of difference, and for whatever it's worth, whether you voted for Trump or not, it doesn't matter. You have to admit, it did put a little bit of a whole shake 'em up kind of thing. And I have to say, he did shake up our world in many ways. Our beliefs that everything was fine, the Band-Aids we had put over things that had, pus underneath, a lot of anger and non-healing, but that Band-Aid was supposed to cover it up, and out of sight, out of mind, and Trump ripped off that Band-Aid. You have to say that. He really did. And when he ripped off that Band-Aid, we saw all the infection that was underneath. And so now we are left with this incredible moment to really create healing and unification and a true freedom in our country. We really are left with an incredible moment. Will we all finally say, hey, this government is from we the people? That means you and me. We are the people. And it is time for us to know that it's not those on the Hill and the great corporations that make all the policies. That might be how it was in the past, but we've had a rip-up, folks. It's time for us to step up. Now, to do that, we got to get over our weariness. Well, number one, I turn off the noise. Why? I stay very well informed, but I'll tell you what, I am not interested in hearing everybody's commentary. I don't want my thoughts changed this way and that way and put on issues that I can't do anything about, and the issues I can do something about are molded into someone else's beliefs. So I unpollute myself from the noise. I turn it off. And I think I really do try to create a world of happiness. There's that wonderful thing, if you want change, you have to create it in yourself. We know that. If you've been a long-time listener, you know that. So how do I want to create that change? How do I want to bring unification? How do I want to bring healing into the world? Well, my gosh, I formed a whole company on it. But I do it in my everyday life. I walk the walk, folks. That means I go the extra step. I talk to people. I get to know people. Even if I don't know them personally, but yet I'm in the store, I see them every day. You get to know them. I get to know them on the sidewalk. If I pass them, if I'm walking, just doing my walk, the same person walks by every morning. Well, why not say hello? Why not meet? Why not be the change, that bridge from one person to another? Why not be that person that sets back their anger, if they have any, and instead puts out a hand to someone who might not think like you? What about allowing yourself to really think and respond instead of react when things aren't going your way, so that when you respond, you are still being the person who is the person who wants to make that change, who wants to better this world, and you can stay in that role instead of the crazy Mad Hatter who's going off at every emotion. It's those little things that we do every day that add up to make up who we are. That's important, folks. And if I want to be frustrated, if I want to be angry, if I want to be in my bubble of all those people over there or over there and I'm over here and no two shall meet, if I want to be that kind of person, guess what? There are lots of them out there. And it's easy to become one. It's very easy. I think we have to learn that there is everything vying for our attention, and a lot of it isn't good. You got to turn off the noise. Decide who you want to be. And yes, these are weary times. And if they are weary times, then how can I make them unweary? How can I make these times something that I feel I am becoming? I wrote I don't know how many of you are on the Soul Manifesto email list. If you aren't, you should subscribe. I mean, I'm not trying to do a sales pitch. I'm really serious. You really should subscribe. Why? Because I give out all these value videos. I do. You get one a week. And I mean, I have one about how to do self-care in a crisis. And folks, we're in a crisis. We really are. It's a wonderful time, but it's still a crisis. And so how do we thrive in a crisis, whether it's a pandemic or whether it's a crisis in your own life? How do we thrive through it? How do we grow through it? And it's a lot of the stuff I've been talking about. But I gave 7 points on how to have self-care. And I'll tell you one of them, or even 2 right now, because this is why I'm not swallowed up by my weariness and my inability to travel and my inability to go to the movies and sit with my popcorn. When this starts, I have this wonderful little notebook. I love notebooks because can you say? They're empty inside. You can create anything in them, sort of like life, right? It's so cool. So I have this notebook that's a special notebook. And I put in this notebook, it is, who do I want to be during the crisis? Isn't that interesting? And only then do I pull out the notebook when I have a crisis. All right? So it sits on my shelf until I think, I'm at that place again. I got to figure this out. And then I have 3 questions I ask myself. I ask, what do I want to achieve during this crisis? What do I want to achieve? Yeah, I know. The whole world is going in chaos. And I'm writing in my notebook, what do I want to achieve? My dad taught me a long time ago. He used to say, in every crisis, in every problem, there is a golden nugget. And if you are swallowed up by the crisis, you never see the golden nugget. And when you take yourself apart from the crisis itself, and you say, what do I want to achieve? You have just opened 1,000,000 doors where before they were closed. So I write down, what do I want to achieve? And then the second one is, who do I want to become? Ooh, isn't that a good one? Who do I want to become, or who do I want to be during this crisis? Do I want to be a victim? Well, if you want to be a victim, then put down you want to be a victim. If you want to be someone who handles it with elegance, insight, clarity, then write that down. If you want to be someone who handles it with open-mindedness and seeing that golden nugget, then put that down. If you want to be the one who starts to make that change, to better this world, to create beauty out of chaos, then put that down. Because you can become anything you want to become. So that means once you put it down in that book, then you are going to step forward every day and become more and more that person. And then the third thing I always write down, I always have this, it's kind of funny, but I'll explain it. I always put, so now that ... And you're thinking, what, Alena? Well, this is how I'm thinking, okay? And you can follow me or you can make up your own little deviation on that. The first thing is, what do I want to achieve? And the second thing was, who do I want to become? All right, I've got what I want. My definitions are out there. My labeling, the whole focus thing is there. Now then the category, so now that, I give a few steps. So if I want to be someone that's going to achieve a goal, whatever it may be, maybe I want to write a book, maybe I want to start a new show, maybe I want to reach out to people, I don't know, whatever it is, I'll put 1 or 2 steps. And the same for who I want to become. Put 2 steps. If I want to become a person who spreads love and joy. All right, so what am I going to be when I go out into the world? What kind of persona do I see in myself? That's what I write under, so now that, ... So there you go. All of a sudden, this terrible pandemic, you feel focused, you have clarity, and you're moving forward in a positive way. And I know you're saying, oh, Alena, oh my gosh, well, what happens if someone in your family gets corona? Or what happens if this or that? Well, yeah, life happens, but that doesn't change. I mean, yes, I do have someone who in my family who has the corona. Who doesn't right now? But I have to say, does that change who I'm going to become? No, it makes me know that there's an urgency that I have to become that even more. Do you see? I don't fall back. I move forward more. So that caring, that compassion, that person who's going to help make it a better world, oh my gosh, that person's blooming. You see how that works? And that beats the wariness. And there are some days that you'll wake up and you'll just kind of allow yourself to think, yuck, we're still here. But then you grab onto your goals and you say, but today I'm still going to have a fantastic day. I'm going to make the difference. I'm going to be the difference. Okay? So a long answer, lots of golden nuggets in there. So all you asked was a very simple question on whether this was wearying me. And you got like a lot. But I'm telling you, people always wonder why I always seem, calm, happy. These are the things I do. And it can change your life. We have a choice, folks. We have a choice. And I am all for a choice that makes the world a better place and makes my life a better place. Yeah? Okay. So let's move on to the next. Now, I have these two questions are very related, so I'm going to put them together. In fact, I get a lot of questions. I think it's because a lot of us are home, and I think feelings are starting to come to a head, and I get that. So with this, I need to address it because in the last, the last 2-3 months, I've been getting a ton of these. Okay, so this person says, and I'm going to keep her privacy, I am so depressed. It seems like everyone I know goes away. They either die or we don't communicate anymore. I don't know what to do. Just want to feel better. I have lost all interest. The second person that I chose also said, I've also lost interest in everything and people. Don't know what to do with myself. I feel unconnected. Okay. Oh, I would love to say these are the only two, but I'm getting so many. And all right. Okay. Well, let's start from the beginning. First of all, you've got to give yourself a break. You know, we're in weird times. We are in such weird times. Okay. We're a very social country. We don't have different countries. We have states. We feel we don't have to get passports to travel to our different states, like they do in Europe. They have to do that with different countries. Well, we don't have to. We can travel wherever we want. We want to go to Las Vegas, go to Las Vegas. If we want to go to Boston, we can go to Boston. We don't have any of that. So that causes us to be extremely social, and now all of a sudden we have been thrown into a world of, well, no, you got to be in your house. You got to be very careful. And then on top of that, you have people that have died. And so you're going through grief on top of a whole disruption in the way that you have always been. And is that going to cause a level of depression? Yes, it can. It can. So how do you get yourself out of it? There are many, many different ways you can do it. I know that people are going away and die. People are moving. I know in Manhattan, everybody moved out of Manhattan during this thing. Nobody wanted to be in a small apartment. I get that. But I think we have to find a new way. It's two things. You have to find a new way in connecting, and you have to start forming a relationship with yourself. Now, there is that level of depression. With the depression, it's very important for you to start getting into more of the reality here. Don't get swallowed up. It's very easy to get swallowed up into those critical thoughts. So how do you fight those critical thoughts? You have to reach outside yourself and connect. So what would that be? A virtual book club, maybe. A virtual garden club. All kinds of virtual things that you can do that you can connect to people. All sorts of Zooms. And you know what, guys? We are going to take a little pause on that. While we're taking a pause, why don't you write down some incredible interests that you have that you can do virtually and connect with people? And I'm going to give you what can really happen and develop from that when we come back. I'm Alena Chapman, and this is Magical Moments. Let's get this solved.
This is Magical Moments with Alena Chapman, helping you find your ease and betterment. Stay tuned for more of this week's featured interview.
Welcome back to Magical Moments. I'm your host, Alena Chapman. All right, right before break, we talked a little bit about a lot of depression that people are going through, the messages. I read those 2 messages. And I was saying, getting out onto the virtual. When you're depressed, you've got to get something tangible. You got to get out of your head. Oh, gosh, depression and fear. Depression comes from fear. It really does. It's looking into the future and saying, I can't do this, or I don't know how to get this done. People are leaving me. I'm all alone. I get into this bubble. I don't see that people are in front of me. Okay. I'm going to show you. I'm going to try to display why this isn't true. I know grief is a whole different thing. And if you're going through grief, that's its own animal. And that can cause you to get depressed. We'll talk about that in a minute. But for those of you who are depressed just because of the change in life, maybe you lost a job, the exercise I gave in the first question with the notebook is a wonderful one, but you got to get outside yourself first. You got to do some saving techniques, I call them. One of them is getting yourself into something tangible outside of yourself. See, okay, my mom has always suffered with very high anxiety and depression. Okay? I didn't learn this until I grew up. Isn't that funny? When I was a kid, I didn't realize that was the problem. So with that, when she gets into that negative phase, that she's all alone, and I see all around her people that adore and love her. I see a little 6-year-old girl or 7-year-old girl sending her pictures and letters and notes and just love, love, love. I see neighbors that come and see her. I see relatives that call. I see my boys who just love their Nona. And yet, the fear puts you in a bubble. It puts you in a very lonely bubble. It's a bubble that is only around your critical mind. It's a bubble that says, nobody loves me. I am all alone here. And yet people are feeding that love to her, but she cannot see it. The same thing is happening when we say that everybody leaves and goes away. And people do leave and go away. When people leave and go away, that means we are forming new friendships. New friendships will come in. New love will come in. New people will come in. But we have to take the first step. We got to step out of that bubble of loneliness, step out of that bubble of fear, and step out of that bubble of everybody is leaving me, that belief, okay? And just try. Now, I know for a fact there are tons of wonderful programs, meetups that are happening online. Do you have an interest in hiking? Do you have an interest in books? Do you have an interest in antiques? Do you have an interest in business and investing or literature, different wonderful literature, like a book club? Do you have whatever it is? Look it up in your area and see if there are meetups. How fun is that? Form your own book club. Allow yourself to just form new connections. In fact, it is important that you do. You need something tangible. I'd say get a dog, but that's not for everyone. But you could, if you love animals, start out, and you're not sure you want one, start out by volunteering. With COVID, it's a little bit more difficult, but I know that they need foster parents. They need all sorts of things. So look into stuff like that. You don't have to be alone. And I know that, yes, a lot of people are closing themselves off, do seem to be disappearing. But there are many more who are saying, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And get that little notebook. Give yourself something to grab onto. What do you want to accomplish right now? Who do you want to be? Start to take steps towards that. That's a step forward. It's very important for you now to get out of the bubble. It's very important for you now to see something that's out there, what really is there. Now, the other thing is, it's time to also be comfortable with yourself. Now, if you're grieving, that's, like I said, that's a grieving process. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Let's really talk just really quickly about this second thing. Stuff that you can do to start to feel good about you. Start to find that wonderful person inside of you. Yes, you have that wonderful person inside of you. And what does that, gosh, I think there was a time in my life where I did lose all my friends. It was just that time. I've had 2 times in my life when I lost all my friends. And I have to say, yes, it can be very lonely. But I had to do something different. I had to do something for me. I had to get out of that, woe is, I don't have anybody around me. And I did this little thing, and it's easy. Everything is easy. You just have to do it. I'd wake up every morning and I would say, what can I do that is fun today? For me. Something fun for me. And boy, those were precious. Whether that was, one time I wanted to go ice skating. So I went ice skating. Now, yes, and I went by myself. And you know what? While I was there, I met a person who turned out to still be a friend this day. I started a meditation class. Now that was interesting when I went to the meditation class, because I wanted peace. So I decided I'd go to a meditation class, and I'm doing things myself. It sounded fun. I got up in the morning. I said, you know what? I'm going to learn how to meditate. So I signed up for a class and off I went. And I remember my first meditation class, I giggled all the way through. It was not good. I had to leave because I could not sit there quietly, and I thought it was so funny. So I left. But I met an incredible person there who thought I was so funny because I kept laughing, that we are still friends to this day. And it has been a good 12, 13 years now. Okay? So it all started with me saying, I want to do what's fun. Get out of your comfort zone and try something. Go for it. If it's get an ice cream cone, then get an ice cream cone. Get a little ice cream cone and talk to the people. Make connection. Get out of the bubble. You've got to get out of the bubble. We are real people out here. It is not a statistic. It's not a crisis. There are real people there that you can connect to, either virtually or in person. You really can, even with social distancing. And it's time to do it. And on top of that, you'll find true friends who have the same interests as you. You've got to step forward into it, though. Okay? And that wanting to have fun yourself is a respect you're giving yourself. It's a really cool allowing yourself to say, I can do what's fun. Why can't I? Now, if you're suffering with grief, like this person is, then it's a double whammy. And one can be causing the other. And I'm not a psychotherapist. I am a spiritual curator and a soul nurturer. So I have to say, if you need professional help, if you find that the depression is way too heavy, then you need to get in with someone you trust, someone who's intuitive, someone who can go a little bit deeper, and help you. But grief is its own animal. Grief is how do I want to say it? Grief can be 2 things. It can be a very sad time of mourning a loss. It can be wrapped around a whole lot of things, a whole lot of other feelings, and it's up to you to figure it out. If there's guilt in there, if there's just loss, if there's anger, whatever it is. And then you have to work through those processes. That's where a good therapist who comes in is really handy. Or, starting to heal from that, knowing that that's there is very important. I personally see grief as a path of transformation. I've had, my gosh, a lot of death in my life. And I have to say, I could get swallowed up in it, or I can transform. And sure, I'm sad. But I don't know. I also have gotten to the point where I think, but that person on their journey, and they left, they weren't very happy here. They were sick. They were suffering with stuff. Why would I want them to suffer? Let them go. Treasure the moments. But it takes time for you to do that. You got to deal with the feelings you have of the loss. And then as you start to let go of that loss feeling, you can transform the grief into those precious memories, that feeling close to them, because I guarantee they are around you. Starting to feel that warmth, that assurity, that love that is always shining down on you. And understanding that it's a different kind of connection, but they're never really gone. But they're a heck of a lot happier. And it's getting to that kind of transformation. So how do you do that? Well, you have to deal with it. You have to deal with the emotions you have. If you have guilt, you've got to get over that guilt. Guilt is spilled milk. Can't do anything about it anyway. What are you going to do what are you going to do forward? You can't do anything about it. It's gone. It's done. It's a moment in time. But what are you going to do forward? Anger. Why am I angry? Let's figure it out. Is there a really reason? Can I let go of this anger? Then do it. And yes, there'll be days that just washes over you, that grief. A precious moment, something will happen, and it'll just trigger something, that a time that you had with this person, and a sadness will wash over you. Allow it. It will transform to a greater understanding. Okay? Grief never goes totally away, but with a higher knowing and a higher understanding that you grow into, and if you allow it, it can become almost treasured versus devastating. I've done this several times. My dad, when I lost him, that was incredible. I really had to, that was my biggest transformation. So I do understand a loss. So between these two things, again, because it's the same person dealing with a loss and also seeing people leave, this is a good time to also say, all right, I'm dealing with this, but how do I want to treat myself? I'm going through all this. I'm dealing with my feelings. I want to have some fun. Add that step of connecting with people outside yourself, either virtually, in the interests that you love. Do a combination, and the transformation will be easier. Okay, so those are the questions I have. Very long answers. I hope you gained a heck of a lot out of it. And I did promise, really quickly, a wonderful Thanksgiving. This is Thanksgiving. We have so much to be grateful for. And if you look at that part of it, turn off the noise and start to look at the very cool things that are happening. This is an amazing time. We are seeing incredible advancements in medicine. We are seeing our country can truly heal and unify. No more pussy Band-Aids. We have a time to make the difference ourselves. Wow. We have the time to change the whole world just by how we are. Now, Thanksgiving is going to be interesting. I know there's a lot of social distancing. There's always pressure at Thanksgiving. I have to say Thanksgiving is not my favorite holiday. My Thanksgiving is all over the place because my mom is housebound. My sons are home. My ex has the day, so I have another day. My one son who has corona is way down in another town and is under quarantine. So I'm trying to think of how to get the turkey down there, how to get the turkey over here. I don't know if I have to cook 3 turkeys or what. But then I just said, okay, wait, this is ridiculous. I get to celebrate this holiday too. And so what I did, folks, is I did this wonderful, I got myself into that peaceful spot. I did that meditation. You got to get quiet if you want clarity in chaotic moments. And so I did. I put on my favorite meditation music. I had a cup of tea. I got myself set in my mind. I said, all right, source, God, universe. I always have this. I actually do Arabic. I say Makuta Deshamea, which means kingdoms of God. I say that over and over to get myself quiet. And when I do that, then I have already put my intention in. And that is the intention. How do I get everybody to help everyone celebrate Thanksgiving? That was my intention. And when I got quiet, all of a sudden the answer was crystal clear. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God. And it was, you don't have to give Thanksgiving to everyone. They have it in their own hearts. What you need to give is love. Oh my gosh. Isn't that incredible? That's what I got. I need to be the love. So it doesn't matter if everybody gets a turkey. What does matter is that somehow I just bring that love to everyone. Now that I can do. I can make up little baskets. I can do all sorts of things that shares the love to people who need it. And, my son, my mom, my boys. And it takes, when you lead with that love, it doesn't matter if you have to sit 6 feet apart. It doesn't matter if you have to wear a mask. Although I do have to say this, and I probably shouldn't, but I'm big on wearing the mask, but I don't know. When we all sit down in a restaurant to eat, we take off the masks. Well, yeah, you're going to be sitting at a table to eat. Take off the masks. You don't have to all be talking in a mask. But be wise, keep the social distancing. But if you have love in your heart and you want to give love to everyone, it doesn't matter if you serve popcorn for Thanksgiving, because the love will exceed everything. And right now, folks, that's what we need at Thanksgiving. Turkey's nice, but that love, that sharing cool stories, everything will come out of that love. It's amazing. It's amazing when you go into a room with love. It's like all of a sudden, it's catching. It's like when somebody giggles and the whole room starts to giggle. Will you go in with love and just a lightness without expectation of everything being perfect, the perfect stuffing, the perfect whatever? And what happens is all of a sudden something comes out of it that's a precious memory. I'm one of those people who always says, if you don't have a place to go, you come and celebrate Thanksgiving with us. I've done that for years. And we always had, the day before, I'm learning of new people who are coming. And each one, my boys talk about a Thanksgiving with so-and-so and a Thanksgiving with so-and-so. It's created memories, and it all stemmed out of love. I'm all for creating experiences. The experiences that help us to celebrate love, family, and newness. And when you do that, it really doesn't matter, folks. The gratitude will soar. And it really doesn't matter if it's what's on the table. I know one family that will be having different things than turkey. They don't like turkey. Well, glory be hallelujah. You don't have to have turkey. You have what brings the love to the family. The laughter, the games, the togetherness, the pulling all our lives back together if we're all out of the house. That is Thanksgiving. That is what we're all about. So let go of what it's always been in the past. Let it go. It can't be the same. But it can be just as amazing. It really can. I know in my life, I am feeling very free with this love, which allows me to create all the ways that I can express love to, especially my middle son who has the corona and is stuck in that apartment. So little gift baskets of incredible fun things that I know he loves to eat. Doesn't have to be just the Thanksgiving dinner. And I'm just going to ask him. And if he wants some turkey, I'll get some turkey. But whatever else he wants, maybe he wants soup. Maybe he wants, I don't know. I'll have to ask him. You know, all of a sudden it's open. This is what it's truly about. It's to give thanks for the people, for the opportunities, for the life we've had, even through a crisis. And there are things to be grateful for. Allow yourself to open to the things that you're really, maybe you've made it through. Maybe family members have made it through. Maybe losing your job was a bad thing, but you found something new. Maybe you're on your way to finding something new. There is always something to be grateful for. Yeah. It's really funny, guys. If you understand vibration, the Hermanites, way back before Jesus, Hermanites were very scientific people. They started with science. They studied a lot of physics, believe it or not. We think we have a whole thing on that, but no, it's always been around. And they studied a lot with vibration. I always say that the Hermanites start with the science, but ended up with the spiritual. And when you understand the difference in poles and how there is no difference whatsoever, just that one defines the other, then it gives you a whole area to play in. So I can be sad or I can be happy, but there's all these little teeny weeny vibrations between there, and both are very strong energies. Where do I want to be? Well, maybe today I want to be a little on the sadness, but not totally. Watch a good movie and cry. Well, maybe today I want to share love, and I'm going to zoom up to this wonderful place of happiness. If you understand the flexibility of these vibrations, you don't have to stay in that woe is me's place. Even give yourself a vacation for a day. Have that love for Thanksgiving. Let go of all the things you think you need to do and spread the love and have fun. And it'll change everything for everyone for the better. I wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving. And for all of you there, also I want to let you know, guys, we have so many wonderful people in Soul Manifesto now. Well, especially for those of you who are trying to get out of that bubble of loneliness, Soul Manifesto is this incredible community. It's growing and growing and growing. And we have 2 free programs I want to offer you. One of them is called Green Terra. Oh my gosh, thank you for everyone who came on last Thursday. We talked about omnipresence. What is it? Is it really real in our lives today? And how is it live? That was the incredible conversation. So if you like to talk really cool, science, spiritual modality kind of stuff, and you like to talk about concepts and discuss it and get some exercises, or maybe not, then Green Terra is the one you want. That's a discussion group on Thursday nights at 6:00. And we do it by Zoom. And if you're in the listening area on WOWO, I also do it every once a month up at Catapatry. Also, we also have the 7 days to reset your inner core peace. Don't forget about that. 7 days of videos that are short, to the point, and help you. I actually had one person contact me from there saying, Alena, I love all the days, but the one that was the quick one to find the sweet spot, I have trouble. Well, that's not a problem. She contacted me. We're going to get on a call. I want to get on a call with her. I'm going to help her find that wonderful sweet spot, no matter where she is. That's the thing. You get into a free program, you're still connected to me. I'm only a text away. Isn't that funny? And that's why I do what I do, folks. So, yeah, take a look at Soul Manifesto. It's a really cool place, and it's fun, and I love the way that it's growing. And if you're in that area, do come to go call Catapatry. Find out when we're going to be there, and join us in Green Terra, because I would love to have you. If you have other questions, send them in. Go to soulmanifesto.com, that contact page. Put those questions on there. I get them. Always. You can always also reach me through Facebook, Instagram. I'm all over the place, folks. Most of all, have a fabulous Thanksgiving. Start with the love. Bring it out. And my gosh, see the miracles of life happen. As always, Spirit is love. No wonder I talk about love all the time. And when we have love in our hearts and we bring that love out into the world, that's when we are with Spirit, bringing Spirit to others. Isn't that cool? Namaste. I love you all.
This has been Magical Moments with Alena, featuring Alena Chapman. If you missed an episode, download it now on iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, CastBox, Deezer, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or your favorite podcast platform. Learn more online at soulmanifesto.com.
Podcasts by Federated Media.